All right, thanks, guys. It's a beautiful day. Happy Monday to you. And you know what? That's a bunch of bullshit because Mondays suck and work sucks. And you know what? I'm not much different from you. I grew up poor. I have to work. I hate my job. You know what? Let's get through the grind today. All right? It's Monday and it sucks. Let's be real. But we got a short slate of NBA games and we got some NHL games to cover as well. So anyway, Monday sucks. Let's get through it together. All right, let's begin with Philadelphia taking on Orlando, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Florida. The Sixers open the betting as the 3-point favorite, total at 219.5. And since those markets opened this one up, we're actually seeing a slight fade of the Sixers with regard to the spread. Half a point fade of Philadelphia in the early going here. We're also seeing movement upward on the total as well, and that is a half-point move upward on the total. So once again, Philadelphia minus 2.5, total 220. Philly open minus 3, down to minus 2.5, total open 219.5, up to 220. 70% of the consensus is leaning toward Philadelphia. 67% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, Orlando's plus 110 on the money line. Now, if you like Orlando at home in this matchup here, it's going to be a tough one for you. The Sixers right now are 6-1 straight up in their last 7. They rank 4th in offensive rebounding. Now, Orlando's covered just 3 out of their last 9. They rank 25th in offensive scoring. They've covered just 7 out of their last 18 at the current number. Now, total-wise, Orlando's 8-2 to the under in their games at the current posted total. Give me the Sixers minus 2 after buying the hook and the under 220 in that matchup there. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to quickly welcome you to the show. Sorry about that negative intro. I was just being keeping it real, guys. I mean, man, Mondays are rough. Tired, had maybe a good weekend, maybe a little bit too much fun over the weekend, or maybe your weekend just didn't go as planned. You got stuck moving somebody, or you got some bad news. I don't know, man. But it's Monday, and I'm feeling it. But we're going to power through. Good vibes only. And speaking of good vibes, make sure you check me out on my website. That's patreon.com/BrockPage. There's plenty of free content on that website. We do daily memberships and different picks on that site. It's a lot of fun. A lot of folks have been very, very happy with the content there. So if you want more content from me, keeping it real on a Monday morning, check me out at patreon.com/BrockPage. Link is in the description section below. And as always, if you are a current patron of mine and you're watching me right now, I simply cannot thank you enough. You make it all worth it. You make it easy to get through a tough Monday because of you guys. I certainly appreciate it, and I support you guys as well. All right, let's go ahead and get back into some more lines of personal leans. All starts are going to be Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got OKC taking on the Grizzlies. That's going to be I think I got to sneeze. Excuse me. OKC taking on the Grizzlies. 8 o'clock tip-off in Memphis. OKC opened the betting as the 6-point favorite. Total at 219.5. And since those markets opened this one up, we're seeing movement downward on the spread and downward on the total as well. That spread moved down to 5.5. Total moved down to 218 and a hook. So once again, OKC opened 6, down to minus 5.5. Total opened 219.5, down to 218 and a hook. 73% is shaded toward OKC. 53% leaning toward the over. Right now, Memphis is plus 205 for some money line cash. Now, if you like the Grizzlies, just keep in mind that C.J. Miles and Avery Bradley are both out for tonight's action. They've also dropped 4 out of their last 5 straight up, and they rank dead last in home offensive scoring in the NBA. Now, OKC ranks 2nd in offensive rebounding. They're also covering 60% of their games, taking on teams under 450. When it comes to the total, OKC is just 38% to the over on the road this year. Meanwhile, Memphis 4-0 to the under in their games at the current posted total. I'm going to purchase the half a point, slide it down, and lean toward OKC minus 5 and the under 218.5 in that matchup there. Next game, Suns, Jazz, 9 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Utah. The Jazz open minus 14, total 218.5. And since that one opened up, we're seeing movement toward Utah when it comes to the spread. We're seeing movement toward the under with regard to the total, minus 15 and 217.5. So once again, Utah open 14 up to minus 15. Total open 218.5 down to 217 and a hook. 54% are leaning Utah, 67% shaded toward the over. Right now, Johnson and Jackson are both questionable for Phoenix. They've also dropped 6 out of their last 8 games. They rank dead last in offensive rebounding and second to last in road points allowed. Now, Utah on the other side is 6-1 against the spread in their last 7. They also rank second in defensive rebounding and fourth in home points allowed. Now, total-wise, we're looking at a Utah team who's gone over the line in 2 out of their last 3. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lay the hefty double-digit point spread here. Give me Utah minus 15 and the over 217.5 in that matchup there. All right, next and final game for our very short slate of NBA games. It is going to be Brooklyn taking on Portland, 10 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Rip City. The Blazers open the betting as the 5.5 point favorite. Total open at 227. And since those markets opened this one up, we're actually seeing steady action on Portland. The spread did move up half a point up to minus 6. We also saw movement downward on the total, down to 225.5. So once again, the Blazers open 5.5 up to minus 6. Total open 227 down to 225 and a hook. Now 62% are leaning toward Portland, 80% shaded toward the over. Right now the Nets are plus 205 on the money line. If you like the Nets in this matchup here, just keep in mind that Allen Crabbe is questionable tonight with a knee injury. Meanwhile, on the Portland side, CJ McCollum is still out indefinitely. Now, Portland is 4-2 against the spread in their last 6. They're also 9-5 ATS in their games that tipped off at the current number. They rank second in home offensive rebounding and third in home defensive rebounding. Now, total-wise, Brooklyn is 27th on the road in defensive rebounding. Once again, Brooklyn ranks 27th in road defensive rebounding. They're also just 17-32 straight up as the underdog. When it comes to the total, Brooklyn is just 2-8 to the over in their last 10. Portland 2-4 to the over in their last 6. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lead toward Portland minus 6 and the under 225.5 in that matchup there. All right, let's go ahead and slide into some NHL action, beginning with Florida taking on Toronto. 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Toronto. The Maple Leafs open the betting as the $2.50 favorite. Total at 6.5. And since those markets opened this one up, we're seeing a steady and consistent fade of Toronto with regard to the money line. And as a matter of fact, it's a 35-cent fade of the Maple Leafs in the early going here. We also saw movement downward on the total as well. That moved down to 6 flat. So once again, Toronto opened 250 all the way down to minus 215. Total open 6.5 down to 6 flat. 71% of the consensus is leaning toward Toronto. 78% shaded toward the over. Right now, Florida's plus 175 on the money line. Toronto plus $1.20 on the puck line. We have Montembeault projected in net for Florida. Freddie Anderson projected in net for Toronto. Now, the Leafs are winning 64% of their games when Freddie Anderson makes the start. They're also winning 63% of their games, taking on teams allowing more than 2.9 goals per contest. Now, the Panthers are winning just 28% of their games at the current market price. They also rank 28th in road goals allowed. And when it comes to the scoring, Florida is 75% to the over when Montembeault makes the start. So with all that in mind, I'm going to lean Toronto minus 1.5, getting the job done on the puck line, and the over 6 goals in that matchup there. Next game, Penguins, Rangers, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off at Madison Square Garden. The Pens open 195, total at 6. And since those markets opened this one up, not a whole lot of movement on the total, although we did see a 10-cent move on the money line. toured Pittsburgh. They're now 2